Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Mortgage Coach Tuesday interview. Every single Tuesday, we're here to help you become a better modern mortgage professional. My name is Dave Savage. I'm the CEO of Mortgage Coach, and I'm always interviewing top producers. Next week, I'm going to be interviewing one of the top 100 loan officers in America who funds over $100 million in volume, Steve Grossman. So sometimes it's a top producer, top originator. Sometimes it's an author, and today it's going to be Steve Harney. So looking forward to getting into that content. I do want to remind everybody this call is recorded. If you have not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, subscribe now. Make sure you're getting updates as it goes live. Also want to remind you we have a calendar. So all of our events, just go to mortgagecoach.com, click on Connect, go to Calendar, and we're always keeping that updated with what's next. So I have been asking for success stories, testimonials, photos of Mortgage Coach, and this week I received over 20 testimonials. A dozen of them were pictures like this. I want to thank the Mortgage Coach professionals that forwarded us photos that help tell the story of how we're delivering value. I think this is a great photo. This is another Mortgage Coach professional just crushing it. You notice he's meeting with a borrower and he's got the TCA, total cost analysis, printed out, plus he's going through the options on a mobile device, either the client's or his. And here's a great example of Rick Shear, who helped 458 families last year. This is what it's like when you come into Rick's office in the Boston market. Quick debrief on last week's call. We had, as our Tuesday guest, we had Garth Graham with the Stratmore Group, just breaking down voice of customer statistics. I'm going to break that down a little bit. And then we had Tom Ferry sharing, how to identify the top realtors and how to accelerate trust with the top realtors. Want to remind you, those videos are available in our YouTube channel. So if you missed it and you want to check it out, check them out. So a couple takeaways before I bring Steve into the call. The Stratmore review was pretty interesting, because what was presented to you as Mortgage Coach members was the takeaways and the insights from over 66,000 surveys completed from loan borrowers. And that's a big number. I mean, hundreds of thousands of families were part of the study. 66,000 completed the information. So to say this is statistically valid is an understatement. And some of the big takeaways were single point of contact drives higher satisfaction. Now, we talked about that because, as you get to the point where you have a team and you're closing over 10 loans a month, you can't have single point of contact. You need to have a team, but we talked about strategies so that from the borrower's perspective, they have a unified customer experience. So we talked about that. Another big takeaway was how borrowers strongly dislike having to, log in to get status, or if a borrower has to call for status, it's a missed opportunity. They talked about the statistical evidence of using mobile, using text, using email to deliver borrower updates. And then the thing I wanted to do a follow-up on right now is this was, I don't want to say it was an epiphany, but it was the clarity in which we heard that the checklist is a really high-value touch point. I mean, we at Mortgage Coach, we know that when a loan officer is delivering mortgage options and winning the business, it's an incredibly high-value touch point. But another incredibly high-value touch point is that checklist. And so I want to, just review the takeaways. Borrowers like single point of contact. By the way, that was a great validation for the importance of the Mortgage Coach TCA video. They want an accurate checklist, and they love to be proactively updated. So I had asked Mortgage Coach members to forward me samples of checklists, and then between myself and Garth, we reviewed those. I was hoping to show some best practice examples in today's call and say, hey, here's a great example of it done right. We didn't get one that we just thought was perfect, so we're still searching. But we did want to give you a checklist of what the best practices are. It's got a who needs to get the docs, what, make sure what you write and what you ask for is in a real human language, not overly formal and legalistic. Why? Give the family context so they understand how what you're asking fits into the process. How you want them to get to it? Do you want them to upload it, email it to you, bring it to your office? And make sure it's mobile so it's easy for them to read and easy for them to share with other folks. So I did want to get those best practices out. Again, this is recorded, so anybody that I went quickly with, you can take a screenshot of that or listen to the recording. So,
Dave,
with no
before you
further,
even get to me,
go ahead, Steve.
if you can go back one slide, ladies and gentlemen, number 5 is becoming more and more and more and more and more important. You know, it's your iPhone came out yesterday with the announcement they're gonna have a 4-inch phone, and they have different size phones for every single person that could want to do mobile, and we're finding on our side that both the realtors themselves, your realtor partners, and the client are doing more and more on their mobile devices. So I think the way Mortgage Coach is leading you that way, backing it up with, you know, great, you know, data, great, you know, empirical evidence that, you know, this is the case. I'm seeing that, you know, just from, you know, anecdotal situation, everyone's on mobile. So I think that what Dave and the team at Mortgage Coach is doing is really phenomenal. I think you're going to cover some of that a little bit after I'm finished with what I'm covering. So I just wanted to make sure that, you know, everyone understood that that's what we're seeing over on this side too, Dave. I apologize for interrupting you.
Steve, it's never an interruption. It's always just extra value, and I appreciate it. So, folks, most of you know Steve Harney. I love this quote from Steve because we all know how important stories are to educating, to inspiring, and what Steve and his team do best is they bring amazing insights so that you have something to share with families, you have something to share with agents in a way that gives you a competitive advantage. I want to remind everybody, last time, I think it was about a month ago, we had Steve on the call. He went through, you know, the 7 things every agent wants for their mortgage professional. If you missed that, make sure you check it out. Today, Steve is going to share some of his insights from his Bridge Builder program. So, I mean, what everybody is getting here is Steve, every single month, him and his team spend a lot of time to create, you know, not 12 slides, not 12 insights, but dozens, you know, of insights. Plus, he provides commentary. I mean, I could go on with the value of his service. It really is an honor, Steve, that you come in and you give this kind of value to the Mortgage Coach community. So really, with no further ado, I'm going to hand the screen off to you and, you know, walk us through the March insights from the Bridge Builders team.
Sure, no problem whatsoever at all on that. I appreciate that. And I'm just waiting for that little box to pop up saying that we're sharing screen. I don't see it just yet.
Yeah, I don't see it just yet either, but I will make sure the minute I see your screen, I tell you I see it.
Oh, there it goes. There it goes. All right, and we'll pop it up.
And I see your screen.
Okay, fine. Hi, ladies and gentlemen, and again, it's an honor to be in front of, you know, everybody that's on the Bridge Builders team, all their members, because the one thing both organizations definitely have in common is we believe very strongly that educating the client, educating that family sitting in front of us is probably the best or most important duty we have so that they can make intelligent decisions and feel confident when they're buying a home. So I love, you know, being able to talk to you and share whatever insights I do have on this. Today I want to just cover one point and one point only, but it's a major point. There is more and more commentary. There are more and more analysts. There are more and more headlines talking about a housing bubble. All right, so I want you to understand that that conversation about housing bubble could impact, if it was true, could impact the market in a very big way. It doesn't happen to be true, and I'm going to go over some slides to prove that to you in a second. But understand, just the talk of it possibly being true could slow the market down in 2 different ways. The first way, very obviously, is we're not that far away from 2007 and 2008 that people don't remember it. Even young people have parents, family, friends that went through some tough times during that. So we're close enough to that bubble that the pain is still hanging around. So when somebody talks about another bubble about to form, that could really just take someone who had jumped off the fence and was running at buying a house to turn around, run back to the fence, and jump over the fence again. All right, because they're saying they definitely don't want to buy if we're in the middle of a housing bubble. The second way it impacts the market in a very big way are there are some sellers, and we all need listings. We'll talk about that in a second. Almost every region of the country needs more listings. And what happens is some sellers who are thinking about moving up, and the stats show 67% of sellers move up. If they think there's a housing bubble, the last thing they want to do is move into a more expensive home that might lose that value in the next 12 months. So this whole talk, the headlines, the blogosphere that's talking about a housing bubble is really, throwing a monkey wrench into a real estate market that's chugging along really, really well right now. So what I want to share with you this morning, or this afternoon, depending on where you are, is I want you to be able to share with your clients the next couple of slides so that they can, with your realtor partners, I should say, so they can share it with their clients and you can share with your clients also. We have all the slides, so I don't want you to worry about that. Dave has always done a great job of, having me share the slides with you. Right in the handout section of the GoToWebinar, all these slides are available to you. So I don't want you worrying about taking copious notes. Let's just get the concept down. Because if we can help both our clients, the buyers that we sit in front of, and our realtor partners explain the situation, we can counter some of those headlines that are coming out right now. So let me tell you why I believe very strongly there is not a housing bubble, and go through that with you. Number one, we have to realize that what's happening right now is very simple. It's about supply and demand. The reason people are talking about a housing bubble is prices are shooting up in a very big way. It's not the normal 3.5% annual percentage appreciation. We're looking right now that last year we're almost 5.5% appreciation, and this year we might be as high as 6% appreciation. So since those appreciation numbers are so high, people are saying we're heading for another bubble. But it's a different situation. This is based on purely supply and demand. We can see foot traffic. Foot traffic is the number of people that are going in to look at a house. NAR can actually measure that. How many people walk into each one of their listings? And we can see that December it fell off, but in January, then in February, it skyrocketed. So there's more and more people out there looking at houses right now. Demand is very high. You're going to have a fabulous year in 2016, just an absolutely fabulous year. But at the same time that demand is real high, inventory is way low. For a normal market, you really want to have 6 to 7 months inventory. That's a normal market. Anything under 6 months inventory, that's a seller's market, meaning there's not enough houses out there to quench the thirst of the number of buyers out there. And since there's a shortage of inventory, what takes place? Two buyers find the same house, multiple offer. What happens when two different families want the same house? They don't fight with the seller about the price. They fight amongst each other. It's almost like a bidding war, and that can drive prices up. We can see that not only have we not have 6 months inventory in the last year, we haven't hit 5.5 months inventory, and over the last 3 months, we haven't even hit 4.5 months inventory. So while demand is very high, supply is really, really low. In anything you would sell in the world, if there are a lot of people that want it and there are not a lot of that item available, price is going to increase, and it's going to increase dramatically. So the big question then is, well, isn't that what's happened in 2004, 2005, and 2006? Yes, it is. The difference between this time and that time, 2 things. Number one is the demand is a legitimate demand. Let me tell you what I mean by that, and I'm going to quote Lawrence Young on this. We don't have the craziness that, was shown in the movie The Big Short, that just anyone in the world could get a mortgage. They were teasing about, the strippers in a strip club, and that, one of the people's dog got a mortgage. All right, that all came out in that movie. All right, we don't have those type of situations right now. We don't have people buying 5 houses even though they don't have any income. And Lawrence Young put it best. Even though the credit conditions appear to be easing somewhat, and they are, the move is from overly stringent conditions to not so overly stringent conditions. It is far-fetched view to imply the current mortgage approval process in any way resembles the loosey-goosey, easy subprime mortgage access conditions of a decade ago. So the demand that we're experiencing right now is real demand. These are people that can afford a home. These are people that are not going way out of their budget. These are not, tremendous numbers of stated income mortgages. This is real demand. People, it's a pent-up demand, but it's a real demand looking for a home. And You know, what we love to do here at Bridge Builders is, instead of just saying something, we like to prove it. We like to prove it with a graph or a chart, some sort of data to back up the point we're making. Now, a quote from Lawrence Young, the chief economist at NAR, is pretty good. But what we also want to do is back it up with other data. This is the Mortgage Credit Availability Index, graphed all the way back to June of 2004. This is actually a report from the Mortgage Bankers Association. The higher that graph is, the easier it was to get a mortgage. So we can see, if we look all the way to the right from June 2014 to June 2016, it is slowly edging upward, meaning it is getting a little bit easier, less onerous to get a mortgage than it was 2 years ago or even a year ago. But if we look back in history to the bubble times of 04, 05, and 06, that was crazy times, ladies and gentlemen. Again, you know, the mortgage credit availability was off the charts. And we know that. We remember that. Hopefully we weren't part of it, but we knew people that were part of it. We knew people that were, you know, selling houses to people they know couldn't afford it. That landscaper wasn't making $150,000 a year, but that's what his mortgage application said. So the demand, it's still supply and demand, but today demand is a legitimate demand. And there's a big difference there. And if we just take a look at the numbers of houses that sold, in 2015, 5.8 million. During the bubble years, there were 8.4 million houses being sold. So what we're looking at right now in a big way is we're not selling as many houses because there isn't the same credit availability on those issues. Now, what people are going to is, the first thing they're saying is that, well, credit's getting easy to get, so we're heading for a new bubble. I hope the last couple of slides are things that you can share both with your realtor partners to share with their clients, and also slides you can share and put in with your mortgage coach information to share with your clients right when you're sitting in your office with them. Because that's an issue that is going to take main stage over the next couple of months, because inventory is going to remain low and demand, the spring demand, is going to skyrocket. Another thing people look at is, what's the qualifying income necessary to purchase a medium-priced home? And what we can see over the last couple of years, according to NAR, that number has increased somewhat dramatically. That's another thing some people in the blogosphere, and even people that are in the mainstream media, are saying, listen, we're definitely heading toward another bubble. Look, it's costing more and more money to purchase a home, the medium-priced home. We have to take a step back again and say, all right, is that true? Is that not true? It is definitely true that it's requiring more money. But is that onerous right now? Again, let's go to Lawrence Young, the chief economist at NAR. And when you're talking to realtors, they'll respect what Lawrence Young is saying. Obviously, when you're talking to your clients, you want to use some more of the graphs and charts we're using. But the quotes from Lawrence Young are big with your realtor partners. He's the chief economist of their organization. Even though home prices are climbing far above people's income, exceptionally low mortgage rates have permitted people to buy a home without overstretching their budget. For someone making a 20% down payment, the monthly mortgage payment at today's mortgage rates would take up to 15% of a person's gross income. During the bubble years, it was reaching 25% of gross income. The long-term historical average is around 20%. Therefore, a middle-income household does not need to overstretch their budget much, if at all, to buy a typical home. Now, when we're talking about that, let's go over that again. What he's saying is, because interest rates are so low, even though prices are going up, it's not onerous for someone to buy it. It's only 15% of the person's gross income, which is still below historic averages. Now, again, we like to give you quotes, especially if you're dealing with your realtor partners, from people they respect, but we also like to back it up with numbers. This is a study just recently done by Zillow, and we update this with our members, with the bridge builders. Percentage of income needed to afford a median rent, and percentage of income needed to afford a median home. So historically, the left-hand column, we can see that what Lawrence Young was saying is about 20%, the historic numbers. He's 100% right. Historically, it's about 22.1% of a person's median income. All right, the percentage of their income needed to go ahead and purchase a home. Right now, that number is down to 15.3%. Now, the other thing we show you with this particular chart, that's why the realtors love this chart. They love to put it on their social media. They love to put it in on their mailing pieces. They love to put it, in their newsletters. Because we also give you what percentage of income is needed to afford a median rent right now. And what we can see very easily, that though the percentage of income needed to buy a home is going down, the percentage of income needed to rent a home is going up from the historical averages. That's big, ladies and gentlemen. That's real big. Again, we have to get this message out because we have to counter those headlines from people that don't fully understand what's happening, and they're just waiting to report bad news. They're just hoping there's another bubble forming because they know they'll sell more papers or get more clicks. And the chart we like best is a combination from the Joint Center of Housing Studies and NAR. Here's the monthly mortgage payment on a median-priced home in the United States from 1990 all the way to 2015, the end of 2015. Now, very obviously, pricing has something to do with that, and the other thing that has something to do with that is interest rate, obviously. So I wanted you to see that where we are now, not only the 15.3, giving that number is a number that's much lower. I also wanted you to see very easily that the amount of money necessary to purchase a median-priced home in the United States right now, the monthly mortgage payment, is not at all-time lows. That was in 2012 when interest rates were low and prices were, hit bottom. And it has gone up, not because interest rates have gone up, but because prices have gone up over the last 3 years. But still, look at that number compared not just to 2006, the red bar. Look at that number going all the way back to 1990. We're still, because we have historically low interest rates, we have historically low monthly mortgage payments. And that's what Lawrence Young was saying too. So again, to recap, this is about supply and demand. We've shown you that we don't have the lax, you already knew that, but we gave you quotes and charts showing you that we're not back to 2006 as far as where lending standards were. And we also showed you that even though it is costing more money each year to purchase a home, we're not going back to 2006, so it was taking way too much, way too higher percentage of a person's income. If you just take the last few charts, and again, they're right in the handouts here. If you just take the last few charts and quotes and get those in front of your agents today, they'll be able to combat those questions that their buyers are giving them right now about something they read in the paper about another bubble forming, and maybe they should sign another lease over the next year instead of signing a purchase to own. Okay, so that's important. For the bridge builders on the call, I'm finished with what I'm going to give you here. For the bridge builders on the call, I just wanted to take this time, Dave, to remind them real quick. Strategy calls tomorrow, the 3 must-dos to dominate the spring buyer's market. We'll go even much further in depth on a couple of the items I just gave you. We'll also talk about the existing home sales. The big headlines today is that existing home sales are way down. That's not true. And we'll give you the graphs and charts to show that, though that is what the headlines are saying. And then we have on April 12th, we have our exclusive agent webinars, guys. Anybody can invite their agents on if you're a bridge builder, how to become a rainmaker for listing leads. This is the most powerful webinar we give. Whenever we give this webinar to any group of agents, they absolutely love it. So we're going to help them get their listings going into the spring season. We're going to help them get a real good group of sellable listings there. Now, for people who are not bridge builders, I just want to make this offer. Today at 2 p.m., which Eastern Standard Time, which is about an hour after this call will be finished, we're going to do a walkthrough of Bridge Builders. If you want to know what Bridge Builders is about, we can go ahead and do that. If you can't make it today, we're also doing a walkthrough on Friday at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. They're case sensitive. There are the 2 bit.ly links in order to do that. I think those bit.ly links will also appear in your uh, the comment section of the chat section of the webinar here. And if you downloaded the slides, I think Dave left that slide in there so you can have that also. If you have any interest in Bridge Builders and all the things that we do and what the program is really all about, you can come to either one of those two walkthroughs and we'll go through step by step what we accomplish with that. Dave, as far as the housing bubble, I hope I helped your people with that situation, both for their clients and their realtor partners. And I really appreciate the opportunity to share some of our thoughts with you, because the better we educate the client, the better the realtor educates the client, the more confident they become. The more confident they become, the easier it is for them to move forward with the purchase.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, everybody got smarter, and then you gave everybody something in a way that not only are they better off, they can share it with their agents, they can share it with their families. I want to remind everybody, all the slides that Steve just went through are available in the handout section. I mean, that's a huge gift. And I really can't emphasize enough that you should go to either the walkthrough today or Friday. Not only will it help you make an informed decision about becoming a customer of Steve's, but you'll learn even more. I mean, the way Steve introduces, educates his product is incredibly educational. So, go to that event. We're big fans of what Steve does. We're grateful for the advice he brings to us, and I can't emphasize enough, if you have not been through his Bridge Builder walkthrough, sign up today. We did put that in chat. You can just click on that link from the GoToMeeting control panel. So we made it really easy for you to click on it, and if for some reason you forget or have problems, email our support team at mortgagecoach.com, support@mortgagecoach.com. So Steve, if you could stay on the call, we've got more training. Obviously leave whenever you need to, but maybe the next 5 minutes as we set it up, would love to get your commentary around how we see mobile. I mean, everybody is pretty familiar with Uber at this point, and I don't know about you, but when I travel, I use Uber. I mean, Uber is disruptively changing how people, do transportation. It changes how often I rent a car. It changes, even when I do rent a car, sometimes I'll Uber it because it's more convenient and it saves money on parking in big cities. It's a disruptive change. And when you look at how mobile is disrupting the mortgage industry, it's already disrupted it for the home buyer. I mean, the home buyer has the MLS in their back pocket, and the family is a lot further off than lenders. And I make the case even realtors are farther off than lenders. So for the next 30 minutes, we're going to dedicate this call to helping you be a modern mortgage professional and use your mobile device as a training tool, as a teaching tool, as a sales tool. Everybody on this call, that we believe the best way to deliver value to a family when delivering options, it's mobile, it's shareable, it's not a PDF, it's graphs and charts so that the family can understand their options, make a good decision. It's shareable. There is some type of a video that we do it. So today we're going to show you, one, how to add the video on your mobile device. We're going to show you how to share a mortgage coach experience on your mobile device, and we're going to share a number of best practices. So, another point I want to make, when you look at the insights that Steve and his team share, they're not only valuable, via internet, not only does he make it super easy for him to share on social, but there's something that really accompany the mortgage coach professional. So when you think of being a modern mortgage coach professional, when you go to meeting with a family, when you go to meeting with a realtor, you should always be very intentional about what are the bridge builder insights you have ready to show, and along with what are the mortgage coach insights that you want to show. Because, whether it's a millennial making a first-time home buyer decision in a coffee shop, this is actually a millennial first-time home buyer in a Pete's coffee shop in Northern California, where she can be one. Go ahead, Steve.
No, I'm just laughing about it, and she's actually a millennial looking at the thing, and I want to, verify or re-verify something that you're saying. Ladies and gentlemen, there's two reasons. More and more agents, Dave just explained that and used the example of his little page there. More and more agents are using their mobile devices in a lot of different ways as far as the sale is concerned. So now there's two different things. Number one is you look much more professional, not only to your clients, but to your realtors, if you can jump in there on that mobile side of it. And the second thing is the agents that are using it the best, very obviously, are the top agents. Those are the agents that can refer you the most business. So they have our content right on their mobile devices. Well, from a branding standpoint, they want to refer someone that they believe is at the same level in the professional way they share information as they are. So one of the things that you have, leave that slide, that picture up there for 1 second, Dave. That's a perfect example. A picture like this is showing you realtor partners that if they refer you, their clients are getting the same professional presentation, whether they're sitting in a coffee shop or the office, that the agent is hoping to present them with. And from a branding standpoint, the top agents, the ones that are doing it right, and we all know there's a ton of agents not doing it right, just like there's a ton of mortgage professionals not doing it right. But the agents that can refer you to most business, they want you to have the pictures, just like what we're seeing right now. They want you to be able to, blend with their brand by giving a great mobile experience, having that information available at their fingertips. So what you do here is exactly what the top agents, the people who can refer you to most business, exactly what they want.
Love it. And by the way, you're not only blending with their brand, you're elevating their brand. At the end of the day, you are, as a lender, you are part of their customer experience. And when you can say, hey, partnering with me elevates your customer experience because I'm helping the family make a clear decision. Right now, why buy now? Why is now a great time to buy? Between Steve's insights with Bridge Builders and our insights that are tailored for the family, you can just crush it where every agent, regardless of how professional they are, you can elevate their customer experience. So, the rest of this call is, hopefully we made the case why you should do this. If that wasn't enough, when I interviewed Dave Ramsey, he opened the interview with, we are 100% sure if we're not mobile and we're not using video, we're going to be out of business. The digital experience is how families are connecting, and it's how we're doing community. So the rest of this call, the next 28 minutes, we're gonna help you use 2 mortgage coach devices, the core total cost analysis, our Rate Watch app, and we want to teach you how to be a teacher because when you're consuming it for yourself, you're holding your mobile device towards you. But when you're being a teacher with a mobile device, you're holding the mobile device away from you. And so it's a different conversation. It's subtle, but it's different. And so, we're going to start the training. I'm going to bring Jacob Gibbs, the leader of our support team, the leader of our training team. Jacob wears so many hats in Mortgage Coach. Most of you know Jacob if you've ever listened to one of our how-to videos or one of our training videos. He's created a lot of them. So the next 27 minutes is going to be very interactive. Feel free to ask questions within the GoToMeeting control panel. There is going to be a time where I actually ask you to do some exercises because we don't want to just show you what to do. We want to have an experiential learning session for the next 27 minutes. So there's going to be 2 times where we actually want you to multitask, take your mobile phone out of your pocket, and you're actually going to get to text me. I'll give you my phone number in a minute, and hopefully my number blows up with hundreds of shareable experiences. But with that said, by the way, before I bring Jacob in, Steve, any other comments before we go into kind of a live workshop training from you? All right. It looks like Steve's on mute or has jumped out. Jacob?
No, I'm here. Sorry about that, Dave.
Oh.
I put it on mute
no
so
problem.
there was no background noise, and I forgot. But I do have to jump. I have an interview, a radio interview I have to jump on. But ladies and gentlemen, I can't stress enough that the reason Dave and I, the reason Mortgage Coach and Bridge Builders, the reason together we blend so well and get along so well is the fact that we understand where the education of the clients is going. And for all my years in the business, which is 35, the 3 words that everyone said, the 3 most important words in real estate was location, location, location. I believe very, very strongly, as does Dave, that education is important. As a matter of fact, I tell my realtor clients, when I go out to speak, I tell them for 2016, the 3 most important words are not location, location, location. They're education, education, education. Those are the realtors and the mortgage professionals that are going to dominate 2016. And ladies and gentlemen, we're in a pivot year from the market stabilizing to the market about to grow rapidly over the next couple of years. And on that pivot year, if you dominate 2016, you won't just dominate this year. you'll dominate the next 5 years going into 220. So Dave's giving you everything, Mortgage Coach is giving you everything you need to tie in exactly what realtors are telling me they want from their mortgage professional. So great job, Dave, but I got to jump now.
Love it. Love it. Hey, thanks so much, Dave. And Jacob Gibbs, you're up. If you could walk us through our first exercise, go ahead and take the screen, and let's learn how to share a mortgage coaching experience and how to walk someone through it.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Dave. So hopefully all of you have the Core Mortgage Coach apps installed on your phone. If you don't, you really need to have them on there so you understand what your client experience is going to be. So if you do have your phone on you right now, please do go ahead and go to your App Store if you have not yet downloaded these apps. In the Android world, you're going to go to the Google Play Store. On an iPhone, you're just going to click on App Store. And when you get there, you just search for Mortgage Coach, and that's Mortgage Space Coach. And that is going to reveal our apps, so they're available for you to download. And make sure to download both the Core app, which is this one right here, and the Rate Watch app. Those are the two we're going to be discussing today. All right, so with that being said, let's take a look at what the Mortgage Coach app looks like, because when you send a link to one of your clients, when they try and consume it on their mobile device, it's going to prompt them to actually go and download the app so that they can see your presentation. So you should understand what they are going to go through when they're looking at it. So if you do have this installed, I'd like everybody to go ahead and open up your Mortgage Coach app. And this should land you at our home screen here. Now, if this is the first time you're using this app, you probably won't have a link in the link box. That's okay. If you've used it before, you're going to actually see your most recent link that you've tried to click on from here. But what I'd like everybody to do is if you do have a link in there, go ahead and click on it. If it's one of yours, that's awesome because then you're going to see your branding. If you haven't used this yet, that's okay. Click on Sample Total Cost Analysis. This is going to open up a sample that Joe Patura, our president, has put in there for you just to kind of welcome you to the app. And you'll notice that this is the experience your client is going to get when they click on your link. They're going to see your disclosure, which is going to have, whatever you've set up in your disclosure area or whatever your company has set up for you. They have to tap I understand. And then they're going to be asked, do you want to watch a video? Now, this brings up a huge point. Anytime you put out a total cost analysis, a rent versus own, an open house presentation, it's absolutely critical that you put a video on it. The reason is we don't want to be subject to the telephone game. So the way to make sure that your advice gets through, pop a video on there. For today, we're going to go ahead and skip the video. So if you're on Android, just hit no. If you are on an iPhone, just hit cancel. And this takes you to the Core app. Now remember, this is the client-facing version. And just like when they click on the link in the browser, they're going to see 4 critical areas. They're going to see the summary section, the monthly payment section, short-term, and long-term. Now those are your analytic points. On the left side is going to be all of your branding. So your logo, your name, your images and so forth, your contact information. Now let's drive through what's in the app real quick, and then we're going to show you how to share this because you really do need to know how to immediately pull out a presentation and be able to share it with somebody as you're telling your stories on your value proposition. So to start with, let's check out the summary section. Just like in the browser version, you have 4 areas in the summary section. You have the summary itself, which is a full breakdown. You have a payment breakdown, which is your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance breakdown. You have a closing cost area, which if you've chosen to itemize, you actually have a fee detail area as well. And when you tap on that, it'll show the itemized fees for you. And then finally, you have a reinvestment area. Now, when we're in the summary section here or the payment breakdown, you'll notice that at the very top right, there's an area called graph. So while we do show you the numbers, they can also look at this in a graphic format. So you can see exactly what these payments are, how much is the escrows, how much are the principal and interest. If you've tailored any reinvestment strategies, it'll show up here as well. Now, in order to go back on Android, you're actually going to hit your back button. On the iPhone, you can swipe from left to right, and it'll take you back a screen. So just depending on what device you're on, it's going to be just slightly different for you. But I'm going to try and show you both ways the entire time here. Now our next section is going to be the monthly payment savings area. This is the monthly summary. It starts off as a graph. And you're always going to see that one of the graphs is empty. And the reason is that's the benchmark for comparison. So in this case, this is a cost of waiting presentation. The buy now option would save $71 a change. Now if they want to drill into the numbers on these, they can hit more info. And you can actually see the numbers that comprise those graphs. Now our next section, and forgive me for going a little quick through this, if you'd like to see this in a more in-depth fashion, we do have our mobile training recorded, and we have it every Wednesday as well. So stop in on there as well. We go a little bit deeper on it, and we'll show you a couple more insights. But for today, let's check out short-term savings. This is the one where you can set the number of months you're looking at. So you're going to tie this into your client's goals. In this case, our presentation is at 89 months. Again, we've got one area that does not have a graph because that is the benchmark for comparison. And then we can drill into our more info sections and actually see what comprises those numbers that built the graphs for us. Now the final section here is going to be our long-term, and this is the one that you can set for interest in MI, you can set for principal paid or net worth. And you'll notice that these do have graphs on both of them. These are not necessarily comparative, these are summary graphs. So you're always going to see that these will be both showing there. And again, you can drill into the more info to actually see the numbers behind these graphs. Now let's get to our first homework assignment for today, our first interaction. The biggest part of this is understanding how to share your presentation. So whether you've opened up one of your story presentations, whether you've opened up a presentation that you're showing to a realtor partner, you need to know how to get it to them. On an iPhone, you simply tap on your name. And when you tap on your name, you're going to get a business card that pops up, and it's going to have a little share report. It'll come up in a second here. On Android, there's actually a share report function down at the bottom. So you can see when I hit share report, it's going to ask me how do I want to share it. On iPhone, once you get to your business card, tap the share report at the top right. It's going to ask you, do you want to share this via email, text, or do you want to cancel out? Now, for today's discussion, I'd like to have everybody select SMS if you're on an iPhone. If you're on an Android, you're going to see Message, Message Plus, you might see Text. There's a couple different variations. But I'd like you to go ahead and select that feature because we're going to share this with Dave Savage. If you look in the chat right now, you will see Dave's cell number. It's 949-370-7393. Now, Dave, I'm going to go ahead and pass the screen back to you so you can add some additional insights, and then when we come back, we'll show everybody how to record a video.
Right on. So everybody, my phone number should be showing up, and I've also got it right here on the screen. I'm already starting to blow up with messages. So, hey, Tim Lamb, I see some folks, some names I know and some people that I don't. So, first of all, great job to everybody that is just blowing up my phone right now. I'm appreciative of that. So let's review what Jacob just went through. You know, it's important that you're able to walk a realtor through, you know, why buy now? Or if you're meeting with a realtor that specializes in helping first-time home buyers, you know, be able to walk them through in a minute or less, tell them a story, share a strategy of how you make the case for home ownership. Or make the case for how when they refer someone to you, that family is going to be better served. They're going to get a better conversion rate. They're going to get more referrals because you're educating that family. And again, this is something you can do in a minute or less. You just walk them through. You show a graph or chart. It's branded. You know, if it's a realtor that wants to get into the details, you start with the details, and then you go into, you know, the monthly savings, the savings over 60 months. You know, show how to build wealth through real estate by making intelligent mortgage decisions, and always put a video on it. You know, we're going to get to that class next, how to add a video, how to update a video on your mobile device. But this is all about, you know, your goal should be get your app installed on every borrower and every realtor's mobile device that you serve. Because you know that if they have this app installed, they're going to have access to your knowledge as it evolves throughout the transaction. So how do you do that? You tell a story, you share a strategy, and then what I'm showing you right now is an iOS experience where you click on the business card, share report is in the upper right-hand corner. Looks like hundreds of you know how to do that. Hey, Jim Sanger, good to see you on the call, my friend. Most often you want to click SMS for text because you really want to do this mobile-to-mobile share. So it's from your mobile device to their mobile device right when you're meeting with them. The best mortgage professionals use Mortgage Coach. So, you know, the percentage of the top 200 realtors, loan officers in America, over 30% use Mortgage Coach. It's like 34%. When we look at the top 1%, it's like 36% of the top originators in America use Mortgage Coach. You should be using it and doing it with mobile. You know, that comment from Dave Ramsey, you know, we believe it. Hopefully you believe it. And so now what we want to do is we want to show you how to how to create a video on your mobile device. I do want to remind you, in the handout section of the GoToMeeting, we have a training handout, and this will walk you through everything that Jacob and I are going through. We've got a playbook for you. You know, whether it's how to create a video, we've got a wizard showing you how to do that. So you can either download that from our website, or we have it in the GoToMeeting control panel handout. But make sure you have access to all of our training wizards. And again, please, I can see that it's so many I can't even count, but a lot of you are following along, and keep up the good work. And Jake, I'll hand it back to you to show how to add a video with a mobile device, and let's continue this mobile training.
All right, great. Thanks, Dave. So back on our screens here, we're inside our sample presentation, or your presentation that you've pulled open. I'd like everybody to back out of this so you can get back to the main screen of the app. So on Android, you're going to tap the little back button over here, and that will back you out to the main part. On iPhone, you can swipe left to right, and that'll back you out, and you'll be back at the main home screen. Now, one thing I want to draw your attention to is we've shown you what the client sees when they're looking at your app. Now, what you can do with it is slightly different. So in order for you as the originator to be able to log in and do things like record video, drive Edge Live, and see your reporting metrics, you can do that by tapping on the little silhouette at the very top left of the screen. So same thing on both devices, just tap on the silhouette. And this is going to take you to an area where you can log in. And let's see if we can get the iPhone to follow along here. All right, well, I'm going to move the iPhone over. They are the same when it comes to logging into this. So when you get to this screen, you're going to enter your Edge and RateWatch login. So your email address and your password that you use to log into Edge or RateWatch from the browser normally. You can use that same set to log into your Mortgage Coach app. When you do, you're going to get a new screen. You're going to get a screen that shows you your partners, your clients, and performance metrics. Now, performance metrics is going to show you how many views you've gotten for the day. You can set it for weeks or months, and it just gives you an idea of what kind of footprint you're actually going to have in terms of what kind of clicks you're getting. Now, for today's discussion, I want to show you how to add video. So in order to do that, you're going to drive into either your partners if you wanted to do an open house presentation video update, or your clients if you wanted to update a TCA. So I'm going to show you clients for now. But you can see that when you tap that, it actually shows you your entire client list. So you can see a good chunk of them right here. I have substantially more clients in my list, so what I would probably do is I would use the search functionality to find the specific record that I want to get updated with a new video. And when you search, you can search by first name, last name, or email. Now we'll revisit the search in just a moment here because there's some best practices for how to label your story files so that you can easily search for them. But for now, I do want to show you how to record video. So let's say that I've got this total cost analysis out for John Smith. I got a call from my processor says that I need a new prior to dot condition and I got to get it right away. She can't get a hold of the borrower, but I need to go into my app. I want to update my video and I want to share this back to my borrower so he's aware that something's changed here. So what I do, I go in, I select John Smith, and when I do that, it's going to ask me what type of presentation was this. And this was a total cost analysis, so I'll select total cost. And then I have some options. I can view my report, I can add video, or I can do live reporting. And I know it's kind of hard to see behind the screen right here. It should be updating in just a second. But what we're going to do is we're going to choose video. There it goes. Okay. When you select video, it's going to open up your video camera. There we go. Hi, everybody. And all you do is hold it out in front of you, try and train your eye on the video lens so that you understand where you can make eye contact for max effect here. Hold it away from you. Some people like to use a selfie stick for this, but no matter. You don't have to be a video expert. Your clients aren't expecting you to be a video expert. You're simply giving them an update in a very personalized fashion. So when you've got your phone out, you've got a good background behind you, you're not showing any mess behind or anything like that, simply tap the record button. At the very bottom, you're going to start seeing a counter going, and then start talking. Keep it under 2 minutes, keep it nice and short, give them an update on what you want to tell them, and then hit stop. When you do that, it's going to ask you, what do you want to do with this video? Do you want to upload it? Do you want to replace it? I've chosen to upload this. So when you do upload it, it's actually going to give you a little status bar that's going to show you your video is being uploaded right now. Please wait for a moment while we translate it. Now we translate it into multiple formats so that wherever your client clicks on it from, they're going to be able to see your video. Now, when I want to share this back to my client, now that I've updated that video, I'm simply going to go right back into the John Smith record. I'm going to go to that total cost, and I'm going to hit View Report. Now, once I get into the report, I'm simply going to share that report, just like I showed you before. And you'll have to forgive me, I'm running into a bit of an internet connection issue on my phone right now. But once you do get into that report, you simply share it by tapping your branding if you're on an iPhone, or hitting the share report function on your Android device. And now you've closed the circle. You've got this client record, you updated a video on it, you uploaded it, and then you've shared it back out to your client via text. So you've gotten this information straight back out to them with a brand new video for the update. So Dave, let me go ahead and pass it back to you here, and then when I come back, I'll talk about some best practices for building your stories.
All right. So Jacob, you can just confirm that you can see my screen.
Yep.
So just to review, what we're talking about is either adding a video or replacing a video, and you can do it from your desktop. So even if you're sitting at your desktop, the camera's better, the mic is better, and we have a whole list of best practices that you can download in our book. So think about it. The best of the best mortgage professionals are creating one Mortgage Coach TCA video a day. Given that there's about 220 days annually, just imagine if you just did one a day. Again, we're talking about something that takes you less than a minute. It better take you less than a minute or two, because, you know, any more than 2-3 minutes, the family's probably not listening to it. But when you think about it, given that there's usually a couple borrowers, husband, wife, there's a realtor, there's a father-in-law that's loaning them the down money that's a genius on mortgages, there's a buddy at work who's a real estate investor. You know, there's all these folks that surround the family when making a decision. So on average, when you add a video, it's getting watched 3 to 4 times. So think about it. Just one Mortgage Coach TCA video per day is 600 times that you're impacting families with your advice in a way that's unique. It's better than any mortgage professional they've ever met, they've ever talked to. It's better. So hopefully everybody now has a new skill. You know how to add these videos. Make sure you're adding them. Some of the cliff notes from our best practices are to keep them under a minute and 26 seconds. Dave Ramsey did a great job in the interview I did with him. If you missed that, check it out. But just some cliff notes to it. He did a big why video. He talked about being authentic. Don't worry about ums and ahs. Just be yourself. Keep it short. Again, this is repeated over and over and over. Shorter is better. Be direct and to the point. Don't be overly salesy. This is just, think of you leaving a voicemail to a family, netting it out. That's what you're doing. This is a video memo. This is not something you need to script out, stress out about. It's just something that you need to net out the options for the family. Be intentional. Who else is involved? Again, like I told everybody, we do have a video checklist. So if you download our best practice document, you'll have this. Todd Duncan did a great Mortgage Coach video. So if you actually go to Mortgage Coach and you type in Todd Duncan, Todd does a great job of highlighting some key scripts in the Mortgage Coach TCA. Check it out. So our goal is just to help you go from average experience to Mortgage Coach experience with greater levels of transparency, education, and value. So as Jacob did say earlier, I'm going to hand it back to Jacob one more time, but we've only got about 7 minutes left. So do want to remind everybody on this call that every single Wednesday at 11 o'clock Pacific, we're doing mobile training. So it's a live workshop. We're probably doing about half of it right now in today's class. So the other half is, you know, you wouldn't see it unless you came to our Wednesday training. So be sure to sign up for the Mortgage Coach Wednesday training. And Jacob, I'll hand it back to you for 5 more minutes of value and education.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Sorry about that. I was just waiting for my screen to come into view. So what I want to just discuss now is your stories. Now, part of being a teacher, an educator, using your mobile device is having some stories and presentations that you can call up that tell stories about the type of help that you've given other borrowers. Maybe it's a rent versus own transaction. Maybe it's a cost of waiting that you want to be able to showcase. Maybe it's an annual mortgage review, because when you're talking to this realtor about your value prop, you're talking about how you take care of the mortgages under your management every year by sending them an annual mortgage review. Now, the trick is to be able to find these easily on your mobile device so that when you're having that discussion, you can pull one up and just show them, here's what I do. Now, what I've done is I actually went into my borrower list and I found old total cost analyses and rent versus own presentations that I thought were particularly effective, strategy presentations. And what I did is I made copies of them. So you can always copy an analysis by going into the analysis screen on that record and hitting copy analysis. And you can copy it into a brand new record and reuse this for whatever you want. And what I've done is on the new record, I renamed them with a keyword in front. And for me, I use the keyword mobile. So the first name on these records is always going to be mobile dash something like cost of waiting. So when I search for this, you can see here, when I search for mobile, this is going to show all the ones that have mobile in front of the name. So now I've got all my stories. I've got a points versus no points that I can call up quickly. I've got a rent versus own. I've got my annual mortgage review, FHA versus conventional, purchase power, cost of waiting. These are all the big stories that I would tell my clients, my referral partners, to really deliver how I operate as an originator, how I take care of my clients, how I educate them. So just a quick tip there. We covered it a little more in depth, like Dave said, on the Wednesday call, but keep this in mind. You want to be very intentional about how you name your story files within Mortgage Coach so you can easily find them on the mobile device. Now I want to transition over real quick and just show you what the open house presentation looks like, because we've been covering client reports right now, but I do want to show you what the partner reports look like, because they look a little different than they used to. So if you haven't seen the open house presentation on the mobile device, you can click on view report like I did for one of your partners, and you can see this has changed a little bit from what it used to be. We've got a bigger picture now. We've got areas where you can drill into the property features, drill into the payment options. These are your loan comparisons here. And then you've got side-by-side branding, and it's a lot cleaner look than it used to be several months ago. So if you haven't seen this lately, take a look at it. This is a great one to be able to show your realtor partners. And then finally, I am going to cover the Rate Watch real quick just to give you an overview. The Rate Watch is the other app that is available to you. Now, hopefully you did download that when you were in the App Store checking things out. Now, the Rate Watch app, you probably have this already on your desktop. You're getting alerts already where we tell you what's going on in the market. But part of your stories and part of your education to your borrower is decommoditizing that rate conversation. First thing you get asked when you meet a new borrower, how are rates today? How are rates today? Oh, man. Well, rates are the same for everybody across the board. So let's determine what's actually affecting rates. Let me show you how I watch the market. So Rate Watch, you've got some areas here like I'm looking at. This is our daily sheet. We're able to see that today we've had very little movement. A couple of days ago we did have some rock and roll where we had a drop and then a rise immediately. Now the whole point of showing this to a borrower is to show them that rates are volatile. They're not going to be just standard for every single lender across the board. They're dependent on what's happening in the marketplace. And you don't have to be an expert on this. You simply have to be able to let your client know that you're watching it to help them make the best decision possible. Now, one thing about this chart, you can turn it sideways. So if you have your rotation on, you can actually get a little bit nicer looking chart when you're going into the long terms. You can change the parameters of the chart to show, 10 days, you want to show 3 months, whatever you'd like to show. But most importantly, these are shareable. So just like I showed you earlier with the total cost analysis, you can share these between both the Android devices and iOS devices. Now, when you're in Android, the share feature looks like this. It's this 3 little connected dots. And when you tap on those, you are able to share not only this screen that we're looking at here, but you can also share the day watch, you can share the commentary. There's lots of different areas that you can share from. Now I'll try and get my iPhone back up and working for you in just a moment here. But the sharing on iPhone is just slightly different. Oh, there it goes. Good deal. Came into play. The sharing on the iPhone is simply a share key up at the top. So when you tap on share, this will share the screen you're looking at basically as an image, and you can send it to them via text or shoot it over via email. You can even post it to Facebook if you like. Another critical part that is great for sharing is if you hit these little three lines at the top of the screen here, it'll open up the menus, and you can go to things like the day watch. and you can actually see what's been going on for today. Another very good shareable screen so they can see the volatility of the market. You have commentary that's available to you that you can share as well. So again, like I said, you don't have to be an expert. You can pick out the commentaries that you'd like. So for instance, if I wanted to share Dan's commentary, I could simply tap on the one I want and then hit the share key, and I can share that commentary to my borrowers. Now finally, and this is one of my favorites from a graphical standpoint, is the lenders area. The lenders area is a barometer, and it's showing you how many have repriced for the best, how many have repriced for the worst. Of all the lenders that Optimal Blue is tracking, that's like 130 or so, this shows you how many have made any kind of move today. And you can see we're pretty even today. There hasn't been a whole lot of reaction to the market. But this is a great one that answers that question. Well, what are rates doing? Here's globally what rates are doing in America. This is what's happening across all the lenders we track on an average. How many people are moving for better pricing? How many are moving for worse? Well, we're not seeing a whole lot today, but I'll keep you updated as I find out more news. So Dave, with that, let me go ahead and pass that back to you so we can close out here. And certainly let me know if you need me to come back on to show anything else.
Beautiful. So first of all, folks, would love for you to share a rate watch experience with me. Share that to my mobile phone. Do that now. So there's been a number of questions. I've had questions about how to sign up for the mobile training. So I just want to remind everybody, if you go to our calendar and you look at it, it shows everything. I mean, it shows, click on the mobile Wednesday class you want to sign up for, and you can sign up there. Make sure you don't miss the top producer interview with Steve Grossman next week. If you want to go to next week's, sign up there. So, and then of course, every single Thursday we're doing training. So that's where you sign up for that. I've also had a number of people ask about the Quick Start Guide. So one, it's in the GoToMeeting panel for you to download, but you can always just get it from our website. Again, all I did is I went to Member Services. You can log in to all of our different platforms and tools, but right here is the Quick Start Guide. Make sure you save it, print it. Again, just a fantastic training tool to help you with everything you need to do with Mortgage Coach in mobile. We've got it on this training guide. So as we wrap up today's class, I would love to know what you thought of today's call on a scale of good to great to wow. Let us know if we delivered value today. Also, if you are a guest on this call and you'd like to get a demo to learn more, click the bottom option and we'll be sure to follow up with you. So, by the way, I did get a lot of questions that we were unable to get to. All the questions that were asked, we can answer them either on our Wednesday training or our Thursday training. So I apologize for anybody that didn't get their questions answered. But thanks for being part of the Mortgage Coach community, and we look forward to seeing you on our next training event. And again, don't miss next Thursday call with top producer, one of the top 100 loan officers in America, Steve Grossman. Take care, everybody, and Jacob, thanks so much for all the value today.
Thank you, Dave. Take care, everybody.